Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. And today I want to come back and re-review a product that I installed in my home probably about 2 to 3 years ago, and that is a video that I got up to about 21,000 views on. And it's been pretty popular, and I've received a lot of questions on it, and it's about my home surveillance system that I use. And I want to come back and talk about some of the pros and cons to the system, and just kind of give you guys an update as far as, you know, is it something I would purchase again or upgrade, or if it's something that you should purchase. Now, if you don't have security cameras in your home, I think that it's a no-brainer nowadays. They're super cheap. There's lots of options available, and it's important to know which one is going to be the best for you. There's battery-operated ones that are completely cordless. There's Wi-Fi enabled cameras. There's hardline cameras, and then there's power over Ethernet cameras. And I use a combination of both. Just kind of depends on where you're going to be putting these. So before I show you my setup and what I have, I want to just go ahead and just tell you guys a little bit about the differences. So if you're going to be looking at a camera that's Wi-Fi, immediately when we think about, you know, in today's day and age, the internet and smart home tech devices, we automatically think, duh, you know, I want to get Wi-Fi cameras. But that's not always the best option. I ended up buying two Zmodo camera systems, and the reason I settled on Zmodo was because they were, you know, pretty user-friendly. Ultimately, the cost was really affordable compared to a lot of the other ones out there, and they've been around for a while. So their cloud system, their apps, all that stuff. You know, there's a lot of different manufacturers out there, and you want to go to the company who's going to be able to maintain the app, give updates, give firmware updates to your equipment on a regular basis, not only to keep it protected, but just keep things working reliably, right? Sorry. Happy Saturday. You gotta work tomorrow, damn it. Anyway, we always think about going with the Wi-Fi, and that's what I originally settled on. I went with a 4-camera kit, saying 4 cameras is definitely enough, but as time went on, I realized that I wanted a lot more. Now, you do run into problems when it comes to Wi-Fi security cameras, because the more devices you have on the network, the better router you have to have, the more access points you have to have. And if you guys have not seen my video on the Asus 3200 router that I have, or wireless access point / router, definitely check that out, because if you're going to get involved in having a lot of different wireless devices, you really want to pick something that's going to give you something that's you know, pretty much hassle-free. And I've had a lot of issues getting my network somewhat stable, and even after all this time, it's still not perfect. But getting back to the cameras, Wi-Fi is a great option if you have a plug. And so that was something I didn't really think about when I got the Wi-Fi set. I said 4 cameras will be enough. I'll put some outside because they are weatherproof. But then you run into the problem of, where do you plug them in? And so let's face it, a lot of homes don't have plugs up in the soffits. Most of the time the plug is down low, and that's a real security, I think, vulnerability, because if a camera can just easily be reached and unplugged, it's not really going to provide a lot of protection, right? So I believe in having a combination of cameras that, if you're going to have some low, have some high where they're unreachable. And again, if you have the kind of home, like my parents have a home where when they self-contracted their house to build it, they put plugs in the soffits just thinking, hey, this will be really convenient for Christmas lights. So their house is really easy to add Wi-Fi cameras. And again, the other issue with Wi-Fi cameras, the second thing you should think about, is the placement versus where your router or access point is. These cameras come with pretty small antennas on them. And remember, you can have the best router in the world that has big giant antennas on them, like my Asus. You got 6 antennas on it, you know, tri-band. I mean, it's supposed to be awesome. The problem is when you have devices that are Wi-Fi, it's not just about whether or not the device can be received by the device. It also has to be sent back. So it's 50-50 there. You have to have a big antenna, something very powerful with your router, but then these small cameras, they have little tiny antennas. So one thing I did to help mine, because I do have some of those cameras outside, I did upgrade the antenna to about, I think it's like a 9 dBi plus antenna. I had them off the old network cards. I put them on there, and it definitely made a difference in the camera's reliability of the connection. So think about that. Again, in my distance between where my cameras are and my router is not really far. So you have a camera that's in a very large home, like my parents' house is over 4,000 square feet. Even the distance from their router to the one I put up there has a really hard time getting a good solid signal. And I'm eventually going to put a separate access point closer to the camera. So that's something to think about. You know, Wi-Fi is great, but when you start putting it outside the house, you may say, yeah, you know, it's right outside the wall. Shouldn't be a problem. It really does cause an issue because you have, you know, the exterior wall, you have paint, you have furniture in the way. So just, I mean, I can tell you right now the distance between my router and two of my security cameras is probably only about 20 feet, and with the factory antennas on those Zmodo cameras, it had a hard time keeping a reliable connection. So with that being said, if you can actually put cameras in that are power over Ethernet, and what that comes with, basically you can get a Zmodo PoE kit, and basically that the NVR network video recorder, you plug the cameras directly into it. Now it's a lot more involved to install it. You have to run the wires through the walls, depending on where you're going to be putting your network video recorder. You're going to have to run lines through the attic. And what I did is, in my home, I have vented, like most homes, vented soffits, and so it's very easy for me to just run the line through the screen and tack it back up. So I was able to put several cameras outside, but I did have to run the line through the attic, and let's face it, that was not fun crawling around the attic. So that's the downside to hardwired cameras, but they're very reliable. They aren't a strain on your Wi-Fi connection, and even when your Wi-Fi goes down, the cameras still work. Not through the app, but through the monitor hooked up to the NVR, which I'll show you guys in just a second. So now, if you have the kind of situation where hardlining or power is a problem, you can buy camera systems that are completely battery powered, and they basically only record upon motion. I have one outside by an awesome company called Reolink, and theirs is the Argus 2, and that one there comes with a built-in battery. Customer service was great. I had a problem with the battery because it died, and let's face it, anytime you let battery sit after it's dead, pretty much kill the battery. So for $10 they sent me a new battery, good to go. And they were nice enough to sponsor that video anyway and send me the camera for free. So that one does come with a solar panel. You put that solar panel area that's going to get direct sun, and that'll keep that battery charged. In my case, I had the panel in an area where it wasn't getting sunshine. So pretty cool, works with the app. You want to check the camera, it turns on, you have a live feed, and you'll get notifications on motion. So with motion being said, the Zmodo cameras also have that feature built in. You can change exactly where it picks up motion. You can stop notifications or push notifications from happening if you don't want to get them when you're home. Let's face it, sometimes when I'm home, if it's like middle of the day, I usually have them on, but sometimes I'll turn them off or put my phone on silent, just because, I mean, every car going by, every branch moving, every tree branch swinging, I'm getting a notification. So it can be a little bit annoying when you have as many cameras as I have, and throughout my entire home I have over 14. 10 of which are Zmodo. So let me go ahead and show you, let me stop rambling on like you guys always say that I do, but there's a lot of information there I wanted to share with you guys. This is the Zmodo camera kit that I have, and I'm going to open up my closet here. This is my network closet, which I do need to redo. I'm going to turn the camera onto the closet now. And this is what I have going for me right here. So the nice thing about the Zmodo kit, the Zmodo system, is that I have two of these. One is the Wi-Fi NVR. The other is the hardline PoE NVR. And right now I have the second NVR off, which was hooked up to this monitor. It's not on because when these devices try to pick up the Zmodo streams or the Zmodo feed through your network, I have to find a better way of having these on two separate networks where they still can record, but when I had both these on, the camera's reliability as far as being connected, and it just wasn't as good. So having one, I'm getting everything's being recorded for the most part. All the main important cameras are being recorded, not only to the cloud, but to the network video recorder, which has a 500 gig hard drive. It's on a loop, so it will actually re-record over itself. Naturally, this one here is pointing at the wall. This is a pan tilt camera, which when it reboots, it spins around, and I have to move it away from the wall again. But that's about it. And what's nice about this here too is that this particular NVR system that I went with has not only a VGA out, which is why it's, you can see the feed on this monitor, but also it has an HDMI out. So I could also come on over to this TV, which is off at the moment, and I have this hooked up to the TV. So if I'm laying in bed, I hear something, I want to check something, maybe I'm waiting for a delivery, I can pull up that feed right on the TV. So you have dual feeds. You have a digital feed and an analog feed, and you can naturally view these with the app on your phone or tablet, and there is cloud recording as well. You can sign up. It is an additional fee to sign up to have unlimited storage, but some of you may find that worth it, some of you may not. But I think this is a great system. I got this for about $189. Link is in the description, and it's fantastic. I have a wireless mouse plugged into this. You can blow up the camera's full screen or mid screen. You could record clips. The only thing I have to say negative about it is that they only give you one USB port on this. So here's where the problem lies. If you actually want to go ahead and record, let's say you have a clip, right, that you want to back up to a USB drive for whatever reason. Like, for instance, my neighbor stole my reflector one day outside, so I wanted to give that information to the police. If you want to go ahead and record that clip, you need the mouse to be able to control the NVR. Well, I don't know why the hell they only put one USB port, but if you use that port for your mouse, you don't have any way of backing up to a USB. So really poor planning on Zmodo's part. I have not tested if you could put a USB splitter or a hub on this device, something that I will try at a later date, but just keep that in mind if you want to back up something with this NVR to a USB drive. In the event maybe putting it on a DVD or a CD, you can't do it, which is really stupid. And I can't believe Zmodo dropped the ball like that on this particular system. But you can do it through your phone, which is how I did it. I just pulled up the footage on my phone, saved the clip, and then just emailed myself. Nice thing about the smaller NVR, and maybe that's something they improved upon. Again, this one here doesn't have the analog out, it only has HDMI out, but this one here has 2 USB ports, so very easy to go ahead and move a clip over if you need to do that. But this is peace of mind. It's nice to get alerts. It's nice to know if there's movement in your house. Obviously you can see that my cars are being monitored, my car in the driveway, the other one's at my parents' house right now, the other one's in the garage. But it's great peace of mind. I always know what's going on around my house, whether I'm home or not, and I absolutely love the system. So let me close this up here, and I'll just kind of tell you guys, I'll show you guys what one of the cameras looks like. So this one I happen to have just left over, and I put it in my office window. So there it is right there. You can see the very small antenna on there. This is one of the Wi-Fi cameras. Naturally, if you put it in a windowsill, it's very easy to plug it in because there's usually a plug around every windowsill. The only problem with that is night vision does not work on this particular camera because it's reflecting off the glass. So I just turned it off. So it's really just a daytime security camera. It gets the whole front of my house. And then on the front of the house, let me turn the camera back on me, guys. Then on the front of the house, I have, what do I got? 4 more cameras, 3 of which are low. 1 is hardlined up near the roof. And this way, there's always a backup. There's always footage somewhere if something happens and I need to pull that footage. So again, like I said, I think it's a great camera system. I've used some of the other cameras around my house, such as I don't know if you saw the one sitting on the table back there. It's another Zmodo, just desktop camera. That one there, it's not a webcam. It's another Zmodo camera. So that feed can be picked up by the NVR, and you can scroll through the menu and decide which feeds you want the NVR to record. Mine will record up to 8 cameras. Being I have 10 Zmodo cameras, unfortunately, I can only record 8. So something to think about. I would recommend that if you're going to go ahead and spend the money anyway, and you say, hey, I want to go ahead and go with the hardline cameras, I definitely recommend going with a NVR system that has at least 16 channels. You got to pay a little more for them, but you'll always have the ability to upgrade down the road. And the nice thing about the Zmodo cameras, no matter what you get with Zmodo, those NVRs will pick up the Zmodo feed. So let's say you go ahead and you go out and you say, all right, I'm gonna get the, and let's say you know for a fact you're never gonna need the 16 channel NVR. Well, maybe you only want 4 cameras. Go ahead and get the 8, because then, again, like I said, if you down the road decide, hey, I wish I had 1 more camera, you'll be able to add those. And whether you want to add, if you get the hardline power over Ethernet kit like I just showed you, you can add a wireless. Let's say you want 1 Wi-Fi camera, you want maybe a ceiling mounted one. You can add either Wi-Fi or power over Ethernet cameras, or tabletop cameras, or like downstairs I have the Zmodo pan tilt camera that I've done a review on as well. That one's like 50 bucks. You can control it with your phone. It'll go 360 degrees around the room. About 45 degrees of vertical movement on there. Sound recording, audio recording, 2-way audio. It's fantastic. It's a great camera. It's a little larger than a lot of the newer ones coming out, but again, that feed's picked up by the NVR. So you want to kind of go with the same brand. Again, although I have several different brands, a lot of the stuff that I have, with the exception of Zmodo, I have received as part of sponsorship deals. So like Wise is a great cam as well. If you want something very inexpensive, just have something inside your house. They're not weatherproof, but the Zmodo ones I showed you are. So they can withstand the elements, and you don't have to worry about that. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys have any questions whatsoever. I'm here to help. I'll put a link in the description. We'll take you to eBay, where you can shop the different NVRs and different cameras. They make a lot of different styles, a lot of different designs for placement. They don't make a lot of outdoor pan tilt cameras, so that's the only downside if you want to get something with pan, tilt, and zoom. You have to go with a different brand, but inside the house you get the pan tilt version. You know, and it's great to have these things. It's great peace of mind. And just again, think about those points I told you about if you want to go ahead and get a camera system. And you know, for what you pay for, if you were to go into a Best Buy, like you can get the Arlo system and all those different cams. And I tell you, they're really they're very expensive. And I like the idea of having something always being recorded. And how the Zmodo ones work is that not only when they pick up motion, they send me an alert, but they also record at high definition when there's motion, and they record at a lower definition to conserve hard drive space when there's no motion detected. So I think they work pretty good. I think that they could work better if my network was a little more was a little faster. I don't have the fastest Wi-Fi connection, and for the amount of cameras I have, I really should have you know, something over 100 gigs, and I'm running about 60 gigs. 60 megabytes second. Sorry, megabytes. I always get too confused. But you know, a lot of people have faster internet than that, so you shouldn't have any kind of issues. But again, your router is going to be an important factor depending on how many Wi-Fi devices you have in the house and how many cameras you want to add. So, all right, guys, let me know what you think. I just wanted to share some of that information. I am very happy with the Zmodo system. It's definitely one that I recommend. It's definitely one, if I can't use that NVR anymore, I'm going to go ahead and bring it up to my folks' house and throw a couple Zmodo add-on cams up there because it's great peace of mind. And the nice thing about that is if you have two different homes, or you have, let's say, a business or your parents' house or whatnot, you can basically have several different Zmodo kits all on the same account. Go into the app and pull up each feed individually. So it's a great system. I mean, it's one of the most affordable ones out there, and they're going to be around a long time. Definitely check out my links in the description. Let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. If you like the content, subscribe. And thank you for taking the time to watch the video. And you guys have a great weekend. Take care.